everyone, it's Linda. Today's video is going to be a video dedicated to answering some of your questions regarding my antique business and our home being featured in several magazines, because those things are kind of linked together, as you'll discover as I tell my story. And bear with me because I am not the best storyteller and I'm kind of terrible with dates, so keep that in mind. But back in the late 90s, I became very interested in antiques, especially primitive antiques and everything that was very rustic. And my husband and I started going to a lot of auctions to buy things to decorate the house with. And it didn't take long before we had a lot of stuff, a lot of extra stuff. And so I started doing garage sales, having antique garage sales at home. And I kicked around the idea for a long time of opening an antique shop. Well, one evening, it was a fall evening. My husband and I went for a walk, and we passed by what was once the old general store in the town, and it was currently being used as a resale shop. And on the front door was a sign that said "going out of business," and the light bulb went off. Perfect place for a shop. So we went inside, we inquired about the shop. Long story short, we wound up renting the building. And we spent probably maybe 2 months fixing it up, making it look the way that we wanted it to look. Our shop was there for I think about 2 years when a storm came through town. It was a tornado. A F3 is what it wound up being graded as, and it damaged the building. And I'll show you the building. This was the old general store in the town, and that was the side of the building that was taken out. The building was condemned. The fire department did allow us to go in and get our merchandise out. We had 1 hour to get all of our merchandise out of the building, and after that we were not allowed to go back in. The building was torn down. We moved our shop to an antique mall. We were there for a year or so. Didn't really care for that. We found another little storefront in a neighboring small town and had our shop there for about a year. And until we decided that instead of paying rent, let's just build a building on our own property and use that for our antique store. So that's what we did. And about that time, I started blogging. I did a blog called The Keeping Room. That was the name of our shop, The Keeping Room. So I did a blog called The Keeping Room, and I also had a website called thekeepingroom.me. And on those sites, I shared photographs from around the shop. I shared photographs of our home. And in 2009, a couple of photographers, it was a husband and wife team, stumbled across my blog, and they sent an email asking if we would be interested in having our home featured in Country Sampler magazine. You don't have to ask me twice. I was thrilled. It was so exciting. And so the photographers came out, photographed the home, and we were featured in the 2010 Home Tour edition. This is the magazine. This is what the cover looks like. And for those of you that are interested, I know you can probably still back order this particular issue online. Find our article. This is the article here. It was called Simply the Best. This is our old house. It was a huge old brick house with all the original woodwork and hardwood floors. And the photographers asked whether or not I knew of anybody else that might be interested in being in a magazine. And I had a friend who lived down the road. Her name was Sandy, or her name's still Sandy. And her home was decorated very similar to mine. And so they actually photographed her house as well. And if I can find the page here, I'll share a little picture of her house. Let's see. Sandy, where are you? And this is a photograph from her house. Very beautiful. And after this magazine came out, I was contacted by another magazine called Mercantile Gatherings. And they also featured our house in their magazine. This is the cover of Mercantile. This came out in 2011. And it says, spend a day in the country at the keeping room. And I should have marked these pages instead of going through trying to find them. But this is some pictures from that article. Then shortly after this came out, I was contacted by Judy Condon. Judy Condon does a series of soft cover books, and I'm pretty sure she does one a year. And the issues she put us in, so they're that thick. They're a thicker, like I say, soft covered book. Was The Joy of Country. This is the issue that we were in. And again, I'll just share a couple of photographs with you guys. These photographs show the bedrooms, little cabinet there. This old horse, I still have him. You've seen him in some of the photographs that I've shared in my home tours. But that's how we wound up in the magazines. We kept the shop open at our house until 2017. So we had our shop for 17 years, or 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. And in 2017, we decided to close the shop and just open on occasion and do antique shows. And we had been doing 2 shows a year at a show called the Extravaganza that was held at the Clark County Fairgrounds. It is one of the country's largest antique shows. There's over 2,000 vendors. Attendance is in the tens of thousands. I love that show. It's twice a year, May and September. Unfortunately, we were not able to go to this September's show due to my husband's work, and I really feel like I missed out on something. So hopefully we'll get to go back next May. But I hope this kind of answers some of those questions you guys have had for me. I just thought it would be easier to just do a dedicated video and kind of cover the subject, because as I said, both they kind of blend together, one led to the other. And it's been a great journey. I enjoy my antiques. As you know, I've changed my house from primitive to more of a white farmhouse look now. I'm really enjoying this bright and airy look that I currently have. Still love primitives. Still have a number of primitive pieces in my house. Can't say that I won't ever go back to primitive. Maybe one day I'll go back to primitive. It's not as casual of a style of decorating as you know, the farmhouse. The furniture tends to be a little more upright and a little bit stiffer, so I don't miss that so much. But I did love primitives, and I still continue to sell primitives. So I hope this video has kind of answered your questions, and I'm going to insert a little video sharing some photographs from around my old shop, and I hope you enjoy that. And as always, until next time,